Hello, peoples. Awesome. Excellent. I see you guys are jumping in here. Maybe you saw that I was going to be doing this today, this morning. Welcome. Glad that you guys are joining us already. Glad that you are catching us live. If this is your first time catching us live, let me know. Or if this is your first time being here, just let me know. Type the cash flow in the comments, and let me also know where you're joining me from. Like what area of the world, because it is pretty interesting how we can communicate to so many people in many different places. I see Anthony has joined us. Denise, welcome. Charlotte, cash flow. That's right. First timer. Glad to have you. Glad to have you here for sure. Pennsylvania, Chicago is in the house. ATL, Atlanta. Is that Daryl in Milwaukee? Excellent. Glad that you guys are joining us. First time from Toronto. There you go. You are the first international person to announce themselves. West Palm Beach. Awesome. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. And one of the things we're going to be talking about today is when is the best time to start your real estate business. Who thinks they know when the best time is? Who thinks they know when the best time is? Again, as you're joining us, feel free to go ahead and introduce yourself. Let us know if this is your first time here. Type the word cash flow and tell us, where you're joining us from. Blaine, Washington, in Ohio. That's awesome. So, and for those of you who don't know, Jay, Jay Massey is my name, and we are in the process of just continually helping people become bigger, better, better real estate entrepreneurs. And more importantly than all of those things is the fact that you guys are here and committed. So this is pretty cool. So cash flow, if again, type CashFlowDiary if this is your first time joining us here. So that would be great. And let us know when you believe the best time is for you to start that real estate investing business. So, Jay Massey, Cashflow Diary, CEO of Cashflow Diary at CashFlowDiary.com from France. Excellent. Glad to have you. Jacksonville, Florida. This is pretty cool seeing all these individuals. So I'm going to share with you when I think the best time is to start your real estate business. Russia's in the house. This is great. So let me ask you guys these questions. What do you think is in the way when you've thought about getting involved in real estate, right now, or if maybe you are involved? What were some of the things that stopped you from the beginning of actually getting involved in real estate? Credit. Okay, that's a common one. I've heard that one before. Credit. Yep. What else possibly stopped you? Money. All right. I've heard that one before. Cash, credit, cash, money. It sounds like we're about to have a song here in just a second. We keep that up with credit, cash, and money. Doubt. Yes, that's a good one. Fear, lack of knowledge. Yep, that's common. Didn't know where to start. That makes perfect sense. And oh, look at that. It's my wife. Oh, thank you, honey. Glad that you are here. Finding deals. Absolutely. Finding deals. Totally understood. And there are a number of things that can stop us. I mean, I've heard things like, I don't have time. I'll wait. I'll start my business. I'll begin to step into the greatness that I was born to be once the kids are in school. I mean, I've heard that one before. And I'm not saying that these things aren't true. I'm not saying we don't feel that those are the things holding us back. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that there could be other reasons behind those things that are actually preventing us from being able to make the process happen. Understanding the process. I just saw that one. We often say things like, I'll wait till Monday. So we think, hey, I'll wait till Monday even. Like we have the idea when we're frustrated or in the middle of something. You're like, okay, I'll start Monday. I'll start tomorrow. One of the things that I want to share is that none of us have perfect timing. Welcome, Angela. I see you. None of us have the blessing of perfect time in any way, shape, or form. We just don't have the ability to do that. We can't make the timing be perfect in any way, shape, or form. Therefore, we often have to start at a time frame that I call now o'clock. That's the only time any of us actually have. I don't know if you've ever thought about that. Is the past is obviously the past, and whatever's happened there is whatever's happened there. And the future hasn't happened yet, and there's very little, if anything, you can do about it. But you can do something about today. For example, you all decided to be here today. Now, I don't know if that's because you got the email yesterday that says, hey, I was going to be here at this time, and you were finally trying to join live, or just because you happen to be up. I have no idea. But what I do know is you made an action today. You took steps today to put yourself in a completely different direction, and that's absolutely wonderful. The question is how will you continue to take those next steps and put those one foot in front of the other? My point is simply, when I was first getting started, when my wife and I were first getting started, we were squatting at the time. We were squatting in bank-owned property. Many would say that was not the opportune time to get started. Well, also at that time, many of you may remember the financial meltdown back in 2008. Well, that was also happening. And some would say that by itself was not a reason. You compound that with my wife had some medical issues, and which prevented her from being able to eat and drink simultaneously without the assistance of medication, and I could not walk and talk simultaneously. All of those things were going on simultaneously, and no one in any sort of sane mind probably would say, hey, this is the best time to actually start a business or begin those things. But it was. So there's a phrase that I've learned that I want you to write down. Okay? I want you to write down. It is chaos. Where there's chaos, there is cash flow. Where there is chaos, there is cash flow. Right now, you might feel like that the chaos of your life is what's in the way, preventing you from actually stepping forward and getting started. That may be what you feel. I would say to you that that's not the case. I would say that chaos that you are feeling is the thing that's preventing you, that's holding you back, is the very thing that should be propelling you forward into actually getting started. Period. That's exactly what it should be. You should be getting started right now. That's how I see it. Is you probably think that those things would slow you down or get in your way, but yet in actuality, what they end up doing is giving you the reasons. Let me explain. At that time, what happens when we're thinking with all these things about we're afraid or what's in the way, is we work with a completely different part of our brain. We make decisions differently, but we also have access to the ability to remove excuses in a way that we never would otherwise. Have you ever heard of those stories where, because their child was in danger, a mother, like a very small mom, picks up a car, or you start doing superhuman things, or things that seem superhuman in a weird circumstance? It's in those moments when we have access to our abilities and things of that nature. So when you are feeling that pressure, when you are feeling that stress, when you are feeling like I can't do all of these things that I am designed or that I want to do, when you're feeling that, if that's what you're feeling, that's also the very moment when you have access to the ability to finally conquer certain fears and the things that are in the way. Because oftentimes, what prevents us from doing the things that we want is the fact that we're just afraid. So let me be more clear on this. There are give up goals, like where you just give something up. You no longer, say if I said I was no longer wanted to be a smoker, no longer I wanted to lose weight, or something of that nature. Give up goals. Often, most people are very supportive of give up goals. Most people, complete strangers even, are supportive of give up goals. Like, if I'm going to give up something like that. But go up goals are the ones that tend to incite more fear and trepidation, because that's when we begin to go and instantly do an inventory of what we lack, what we don't have, that will prevent us from getting to where we want to be. For example, time. Time is one of those. And we use that, and it comes up in many different forms, as some of what you guys said earlier. Money, credit, knowledge. I'm lacking something. I just don't see myself ever having done that. All of those things are very, very true. Not saying that they're not. They feel true for sure. But what I am saying is that the only time you have is right now. Period. So what does that mean? In my opinion, it means something very, very simple. In my opinion, it simply means that what you do today obviously will affect tomorrow, but more importantly, let's be more conscious about where you invest your time today. And today you've decided, at least for these few moments, to invest them with me. And for that, I am grateful. And I'm hoping to be able to give you some ideas, and more importantly, point you in a direction to where you can actually go to get started. Because there is no other time, but like I said, right now. And things won't be different next year unless you start this year, or more importantly, right now. And now o'clock becomes the mantra. Yes, I'm aware that you're like, but I don't know everything. Okay, fine. That's normal. No one knows everything when they first start anything. Write this down. Every master was once a disaster. Every master was once a disaster. That's very, very true. And the biggest challenge, and here's what I really truly see as the biggest challenge to us in general being able to start, for a person, for you, for anyone being able to start something new, happens to be the fact that we've been trained to not make mistakes. And we think perfection is the way to profit, but it isn't. And we've been trained that way, primarily through most education systems, even in other countries, no matter what country you're in, is that the education system says you got to get it right. You got to get it right the first time and with no help. And those things aren't true. In the world of entrepreneurship, there's no way to get it right the first time without help. You can't. I don't know how to do that. I mean, even when you study, as you study classes, those things are great. Those things help you, but they don't prevent you from still being in a position in which you make a mistake. Now, if you have ever said to yourself that you want to know how to do something completely, you've said to yourself, you know what, I'll get started once I know what I'm doing. Give me a high five there, because I think that there's a number of people who are watching right now that would make great real estate entrepreneurs, but that you just haven't taken that extra step in so many different ways. Now, here's my point. When we're afraid, any excuse will do, and we are afraid of nothing more. I mean, making mistakes, that was horrible, right? You remember in school when you would make a mistake, and if you said the wrong thing in class, everybody like pointed at you and whatnot. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. If you made a mistake, you were made fun of for doing so. And we learned things like that all the way. Well, unlearning those things, failing fast, failing forward, making mistakes is part of the process. And as you learn to become more comfortable with that, you can actually begin to receive different benefits from life. And because you don't actually gain a prize for playing small. And for many of us, it doesn't take much to change the reality that you're currently experiencing in terms of the way of dollars. It doesn't take much, and that's great. That's actually a benefit. However, the greatest benefit that I can say that has happened, despite every mistake that's ever been made, that I've made during the journey. I mean, I've done hundreds, and I mean hundreds of transactions. It would be foolish to think that there's never a transaction that didn't go well out of hundreds. Have you done anything 100 times and not met? I mean, I'm willing to bet that you've brushed your teeth at least 100 times, but there was one time where you picked up the toothbrush and you forgot to put toothpaste on it, and you just started brushing and realized later. I bet there have been times where you bit the toothbrush in a funny way and it hurt. I mean, you've done things that hundreds of times, but to expect yourself to somehow manage to do your real estate business and never make a mistake, I think is absolutely crazy. In fact, you're going to make them. And at the beginning is when you make the most of them. But that's okay. That's the process of learning. It's how your kid and children, it's how we learn to walk. It's how you learn to talk. It's how you learn to do anything that you currently are good at, you weren't at the beginning. And now is the best time to start, even though it doesn't feel appropriate. It doesn't feel comfortable. I promise you, squatting in bank-owned property, not being able to eat or drink, and watching my wife not be able to eat or drink and me not be able to walk or talk was not the way I would plan it. Okay. But that's my point isn't so much about me as it is we've all got reasons why it won't work right now. And I'm wanting you to believe or take one action step towards, hey, okay, maybe it will work at least today. So I'm willing to try. That's really where I'm coming from, is that I want you to be willing to try, even though it feels scary. That's part of the process. Just because you have that feeling and response of fear, that doesn't mean you back away. In fact, oftentimes it should mean and can mean that that's the time for you to double down. So here we go. What do I simply mean? Here's what I want you to do today, and I do mean right now, is that there's going to be a presentation later, and I want you to go register for it and attend, because I'm going to help you get started. Just go to cashflowdiary.com/rock solid. cashflowdiary.com/rock solid. One more time, it's cashflowdiary.com/rock solid. Rock solid is one word. There is no spacing in between. Just feel free to take a screenshot if you need to. cashflowdiary.com/rock solid. And I'll go over the basics of what it means to be getting started. I'll be helping individuals understand what it's going to take for them to start even right now. There's no reason why you have to delay change any longer. And I get it. You know, the kids might still be at home today. Maybe you planned to go to the park. Well, the cool thing is that with today's technology, as you guys already know, we've got phones and tablets and iPods and all kinds of things that allow us to connect and watch from many different places. So I'm hoping that just the thought process, that now that I'm giving you permission to step into the greatness I believe you were born to be, and I'm asking you to do so today by taking one simple step, that one simple step being going to cashflowdiary.com/rock solid, joining me so that I have the opportunity to invest more time with you and help you move forward inside your real estate investing, entrepreneurship career, and making things happen. It's been fun talking to you this morning. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.